What if I told you Beyoncé's rise to global superstardom wasn't just about talent or hard work, but a carefully engineered plan to make her untouchable? And what if I told you that DMX, one of the most powerful voices in hip-hop, was betrayed by the very people he trusted most? Comedian Katt Williams is pulling back the curtain on Hollywood's biggest secrets, and this time, he's calling out names that nobody ever expected. Stick with me, because the deeper we dig into this story, the darker it gets. Katt Williams has built a reputation for being brutally honest. He's not like other comedians who just tell jokes and move on. Katt mixes comedy with truth bombs that leave audiences shocked. Over the years, he's claimed that Hollywood is full of hidden deals, dark contracts, and powerful people who control careers like puppets. Now, his latest comments about Beyoncé and DMX have sent shockwaves through the industry, because when Katt speaks, people listen. Sometimes in fear, sometimes in disbelief, but always with curiosity. Beyoncé's story has always been sold to us as the perfect dream, a young girl from Houston, Texas, blessed with a golden voice, who worked hard, pushed through the competition, and eventually became one of the most famous women on the planet. But according to Katt Williams, that story isn't the full truth. He claims Beyoncé didn't just rise, she was chosen. That her career was carefully guided, boosted, and protected by people in power. While she was being lifted up, others just as talented were quietly pushed down. And here's the thing, when you start to look closely, the pieces almost fit too perfectly. Let's take Kelly Rowland, for example. She was right there next to Beyoncé in Destiny's Child. Some fans even argue Kelly's voice was stronger, smoother, and more versatile. She had the beauty, the stage presence, the charisma, everything you'd expect from a superstar. But what happened? While Beyoncé's career skyrocketed, Kelly stalled. She had a few hits, but she was never pushed to the same heights. And it wasn't just Kelly. Other women in R&B, some with powerhouse vocals, some with star-level potential, were kept from reaching the top. According to Katt, this wasn't an accident. It was intentional. The industry only wanted one queen, and they made sure her throne was never threatened. And trust me, this is just the surface. Because once we bring Jay-Z into the conversation, things get even more complicated. When Beyoncé and Jay-Z got together, the world celebrated it as a love story. Music's king and queen uniting, building a family, and ruling the charts together. But Katt suggests their relationship wasn't just romance. It was strategy. Think about it. Jay-Z was already one of the most powerful men in hip-hop, with connections everywhere. By joining forces with Beyoncé, they became untouchable. No scandal could tear them down, no competition could touch them. Together, they became a cultural empire. But here's the question Katt raises. Was their union natural, or was it orchestrated by people behind the scenes who knew exactly how much power they'd hold together? Now let's switch gears to DMX, one of the most raw, authentic voices hip-hop has ever seen. At his peak, DMX wasn't just a rapper, he was a force of nature. His music spoke to pain, survival, and real-life struggle. Fans connected to him because he wasn't polished, he was real. But behind the scenes, his career was full of battles, legal issues, addiction, personal struggles, and according to Katt Williams, these struggles weren't just personal demons, they were exploited. Instead of protecting DMX, insiders used his pain to make money. They took advantage of his vulnerability, profited off his chaos, and when he was no longer useful, they abandoned him. And here's where it gets chilling, because Katt claims DMX's story isn't just about one man. It's about a pattern, a system that decides who rises, who falls, and who gets sacrificed. Katt paints a picture of an industry that doesn't care about talent. It cares about control. Artists are elevated only as long as they're useful. Once they start asking too many questions, or once their struggles become inconvenient, the same system that built them up tears them down. We've seen this over and over. Stars who explode onto the scene, dominate for a few years, and then suddenly vanish, usually after a scandal, a breakdown, or a betrayal. Meanwhile, the record labels and executives behind them keep getting richer. DMX's downfall, Katt says, wasn't just tragic, it was engineered. What makes Katt's revelations even scarier is the silence surrounding them. According to him, many artists know exactly how this game works. They know about the deals, the betrayals, the manipulations, but they stay quiet because speaking out means risking everything: money, fame, influence, and in some cases, even their safety. That's why Katt Williams stands out. He's not afraid to burn bridges. He's not afraid to risk his career by saying what everyone else whispers behind closed doors. But wait until you hear this, because Katt isn't just pointing fingers, he's connecting Beyoncé's rise and DMX's fall as part of the same system. Katt's theory is bold. For every star the industry chooses to crown, someone else has to be sacrificed. Beyoncé's carefully managed rise, he suggests, came at the expense of others who were sidelined. And DMX's destruction? That was part of the cost of keeping control in the industry. Whether you believe him or not, the idea is disturbing. It suggests that fame and power in music aren't earned. They're handed out, managed, and sometimes bought with someone else's downfall. So why does this matter? Because it forces us to ask, how much of what we see in music and entertainment is real? And how much is manufactured? How many of our favorite artists are living their dream? And how many are living under contracts and deals that silence them? Katt isn't just exposing Beyoncé or DMX's story, he's exposing the system itself. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Katt Williams is telling the truth? Is Beyoncé's success part of a bigger plan? Was DMX betrayed by the people closest to him? Or is Katt just stirring up more controversy to keep his name alive? Drop your thoughts down in the comments because this debate is about to explode. And if you want more deep dives like this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell, because the next story we're covering will blow your mind even more than this one.